Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday.
At the Hangzhou Asian Games in China, the Indian contingent finished its campaign by living up to the commitment of Is Bar Sau Par, with a haul of 107 medals comprising of 28 gold, 38 silver and 41 bronze. This outstanding feat surpassed India's previous best of 70 medals at Jakarta Asian Games in 2018. This is the second time India has won more than 100 medals in any of the three major games, that is, the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, and the Asian Games. They had won 101 medals in year 2010 Commonwealth Games in New Delhi. Indian Air Force Air Chief Marshal Vivek Ram Chaudhary on Sunday unveiled a new ensign for the force for the first time in 72 years. The new banner was unveiled during the 91st Air Force Day celebrations in UP's Prayagraj. The new ensign features the tricolour on top left corner of the IAF crest on the top right. American professor Claudia Goldin had won the 2023 Nobel Economics Prize for her comprehensive research on women's contribution to the labor market. Claudia Goldin provided the first comprehensive account of the women's earnings and the labor market participation throughout the centuries. Her research reveals that the cause of change in the main source of the remaining gender gap. She showed that female participation in the labor market did not have an upward trend over 200 years period, but instead formed a U-shaped curve. The participation of a married woman decreases with the transition from an agrarian to an industrial society in the early 19th century, but then started to increase with the growth of the service sector in the early 20th century. Goldin explained this pattern as a result of a structural change and the evolving social norms regarding women's responsibilities for home and family. Sri Lanka is set to take over the chairmanship of the Indian Ocean Rim Association IORA during the 23rd Council of Ministers meeting scheduled for October 11, 2023 in Colombo. Sri Lanka's foreign minister in an announcement said that the association's member states will hold discussions on the collaborations in various sectors including trade and investment, maritime safety and security, fisheries management, disaster risk management and the blue economy, among the others. The deliberations will be guided by recommendations from the 25th Committee of IORA senior officials being held this week. The Election Commission of India (ECI) has launched the Election Seizure Management System in a bid to increase supervision for bribe-free polls. The platform, which will provide real-time updates about seizures to enforcement agencies, will be used for the first time during the upcoming assembly elections for 5 states. It will provide seamless coordination among enforcement agencies. India has launched Operation Ajay to facilitate the return from Israel of its citizens who wish to return. Special charter flights and the other arrangements are being put in place. The second flight under Operation Ajay carrying 332 Indian nationals from Israel arrived this week. Union Minister Rajiv Chandra was present at the airport and received the Indian nationals who arrived from Israel. In view of the ongoing developments in Israel and Palestine, a 24-hour control room has been set up in the Ministry of External Affairs to monitor the situation and provide information and assistance. Representative Office of India in Ramallah has also been set up, a 24 hours emergency helpline. Shahid Latif, one of India's most wanted terrorists and the mastermind of 2016 Pathankot attack, was shot dead by unknown attackers in Pakistan's Sialkot, the reports said as per Wednesday. The 41-year-old Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist was responsible for the attack on the Indian Air Force base that left around 7 security personnel dead and over 20 others wounded. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh concluded the fifth annual defense dialogue with French Minister of Armed Forces Sebastien Lecornu in Paris yesterday, before concluding his two-nation European tour. The two ministers discussed a wide range of topics from the assessment of the regional situation to the ongoing military to military engagements with a focus on enhancing defense industrial cooperation. Defense Minister said the ministers reviewed the ongoing defense projects and discussed ways to deepen the collaboration between the defense industries of both the countries. They also discussed potential collaboration in the niche domains such as cyber, space, and artificial intelligence. The 20th round of India China Corps Commander level meeting was held at Chushul Moldo border meeting point on the Indian side on 9th and 10th of this month. The two sides exchanged views in a frank, open, and a constructive manner for an early and a mutual acceptable resolution of the remaining issues along the LOC in the western sector in accordance with the guidance provided by the national leadership of the two countries. In a statement, External Affairs Minister said, India and China agreed to maintain the momentum of dialogue and negotiations through the relevant military and diplomatic mechanisms. They also committed to maintain peace and tranquility on the ground in the border areas in the interim. The first ever mobile tower has been installed at Siachen Glacier, known as the world's highest battlefield. The tower was installed by Indian Army in collaboration with Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited (BSNL). Sharing the pictures, Union Minister of States for Communication Devusin Chauhan said, "Now our heroes can talk to their near and dear ones at their convenience." Union Minister Sarbananda Sonowal flagged off the ferry service between Tamil Nadu's Nagapattinam and Sri Lanka's Kankesanturai. On the occasion, Prime Minister Modi said, "It is an important milestone in strengthening our relations with Sri Lanka." The ticket cost for the journey has been set to 7,670 per person. However, on October 14th, the ticket price will be 2,800 per person. Israel ups ante amid war with Hamas as its army kept pounding the densely populated Gaza Strip with artillery shells and airstrikes. It also prepared for a ground invasion tomorrow. Israel has massed forces, tanks, and other heavy armored around Gaza and called up 3 lakh reservists. Israel has vowed to crush Hamas after gunmen from Palestine group attacked across the border and killed 1,200 people. This was the deadliest attack on the country since it was founded 75 years ago. On Friday, the Israeli military had called for evacuation of all civilians from Gaza City. The IDF said that it had advertised its intentions because they did not want to kill civilians. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and US Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited the country to extend support to help mitigate the situation. In meantime, Prime Minister Netanyahu formed a new war management cabinet consisting of Prime Minister himself, the Defense Minister, and a senior opposition lawmaker and former Defense Minister Benny Gantz to bolster public trust and to infuse country's wartime leadership with greater military experience. Meanwhile, back in India, there is a renewed social media movement, Boycott Indo-Pakistan Match, calling for a boycott of the game against the backdrop of recent terrorist attacks in India that are allegedly connected to Pakistan. A confrontation with terrorists in Anantnag district on September 13 resulted in death of an Indian Army colonel, a major, and a deputy superintendent of police. When pictures and videos of the Indian crowd extending warm welcome to Pakistani cricket team went viral, the unrest broke out. Many questioned why players from across the border were being treated with such warmth and the courtesy since hostilities are still going on and frequently results in the death of Indian security officers. It's a question to our viewers. Are we becoming really insensitive towards our own armed forces? What do you think? Do let us know in the comments below. And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded itself this week back in history. 8th October 1871, Great Chicago Fire. On this day in 1871, the Great Chicago Fire began in the barns of Patrick and Catherine O'Leary, and by the time the blaze died out, 2 days later, a large swath of the city has been devastated and some 300 people were killed. 9th October 2004, first Afghan presidential elections. On this day in 2004, for the first time in Afghanistan's history, voters went to the poll to choose president, seeking Hamid Karzai, who had served as the interim president after the fall of Taliban regime in 2001. 10th October 1845, founding of US Naval Academy. To improve the then unsatisfactory methods of instructing midshipmanship, George Bancroft, historian, educator, and the Secretary of the Navy, founded the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland on this day in 1845. 11th October 1962, opening of the Second Vatican Council. The Second Vatican Council, announced by Pope John XXIII in 1959, opened this day in 1962, lasted for 3 years and remains a symbol, basically controversial to some, of the Church's readiness to adapt to modern life. 12th October 1492, New World sighted. The New World was discovered this day in 1492 when the land, most likely San Salvador, was sighted in the Caribbean from the Pinta, one of the 3 ships that participated in Christopher Columbus' historic voyage. 13th October 1792, cornerstone laid for the White House. The cornerstone for the White House, the official office and home of every US president and the First Lady since 1800, when John and Abigail Adams moved in near the end of his term, were laid this day in 1792. 14th October 1066, Battle of Hastings. At the Battle of Hastings, fought this day in 1066, King Harold II of England was defeated by invading army of William, Duke of Normandy, in the Norman conquest, establishing Normans as a ruler of England.
Well, that's all, friends, for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.